Two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
All right. Some weekend statements and questions here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. Judd, let's talk about MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air before we dive into the show here today.
I love it because guess what? I've got a statement. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air are the best in town. And now you're looking at Sports Dad and you're saying, how do you know that, Sports Dad? You're just a spokesperson. You're just a pretty face. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not. I'm not. Guess why? Because I've used them several times, and I'm going to tell you they do fantastic work, friendly, efficient, and the most important thing is the quality. The quality is outstanding. When it comes to these type of repairs, you want people that you can trust. And MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air comes through at every turn. The last time they came to my house, it was to fix the furnace. There had been a problem. They came out. It was instantly fixed. Great work. Explained everything. I didn't understand a word, but who cares because it got fixed, and they were awesome.
No idea.
Yeah, well, you know what? You don't need to know. You don't need to know. You just need to know that your home is safe and sound. So give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com. Call msp.com. My statement is they're the best in town.
Okay, I have an Anthony Edwards statement here. There's so many different ways I could go with this, but I'm going to start you guys off by saying playoff Anthony Edwards is on track to be an all-time great NBA player. Now, he has to, at some point, he's got to win a championship or two. But do we, or maybe another way to put the statement is, I'm not sure we realize how good playoff Ant is. If you go back and look at his last now 21 postseason games, so this goes back into the first round Denver loss from 2 years ago, and then Phoenix, Denver, Mavericks, and then game one against the Lakers. And between those periods, he is, 22, 23, 24 years old, somewhere in there. 21 through 23, whatever. Mm-hmm. He's averaging 29 points, 40% from three, 48% from the field, 7 rebounds, 6.5 assists, also a couple of steals and a block, and in a lot of cases, lockdown defense. He hasn't even hit his prime yet. And the last 20 games of playoff Ant look like a Kobe Bryant prime box score, a Michael Jordan box score from his might have been more in the 30s per game. But I guess the statement officially is, I'm not sure we understand how great this dude is, and he's not even at his peak yet. Playoff Ant.
Playoff Ant's fantastic. I do think there's this, and it's fair and it's not fair. But because we all, and Wolves fans, watch so many games, right? We see the greatness, but we see the deficiencies too. The lack of maturity at times, which, by the way, on Saturday, he did not show at all. In fact, he showed the opposite. Played a very mature game. But we see the Wednesday night against Washington when he doesn't show up. Frustrates us. And it probably should. But I think when you take a step back and you look at what this kid or this guy has done and what he's done in the playoffs, and the fact that he is the polar opposite of so many athletes in this town, at least of recent vintage, in the fact that he elevates his game at the most important times, I feel like that's not a given here. Yes, there's a case to be made that we don't fully appreciate his greatness because we see the flaws, and the flaws drive us crazy. But in some ways, I think you got to separate them. Like, it's fine to have expectations, and there are times when he doesn't show up against the Jazz or he takes a stupid tech that it drives you nuts. But there also has to be an appreciation of the fact that this guy is just flat out special.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking up Kevin Garnett's first 20 playoff games. There was a lot of really bad stuff in there. A lot of just kind of no-show performances. That series against Portland in 2000, they get beat. Those were five-game series, and he has a 6 for 20, a 5 for 20, where he can't make a shot. And, so Kevin Garnett around the same age range too, where it's like you're like 19 or 20, and then your first playoff appearance is like when you're 20 or 21 years old, in your early 20s. And the Wolves were 5-15 in his first 20 playoff games. He averaged under 19 points a game. He did grab you 10 rebounds and dish some assists, but he was only shooting 44% from the field. Like, it took KG 25 playoff games to really unlock. And Ant, it's like Ant's first playoff game against Memphis was it a 40 burger? It was like a huge performance because they blew out Memphis, and then the rest of the series went kind of sideways 3 years ago.
Yep. No, he's a special player, and I think the fact that he could take his game, I think the fact we don't see it consistently can frustrate us. But I think the fact that he can take his game in moments where it's crucial up like 3 notches is really, really cool, because that is not a given with every single good player, for sure.
One more nugget about him. So he, in his last 7 postseason games, Anthony Edwards, going back to Game 7 against the Nuggets, and then the Dallas series too, he's tapped into the triple-double flirtation. It's like he's still getting, his 20, 25, 30 points or whatever, but in his last 7 playoff games, he's also averaging 9 rebounds and 8 assists. So the flirtation with triple-double playoff Ant is now becoming a thing too.
Go ahead, Dex.
Cool to watch.
So I'll go the WrestleMania route. It was WrestleMania, right? It's the Super Bowl of wrestling over the weekend. And my statement is, I feel like we dropped the ball. That is my statement. Wow. I feel like we dropped the ball on specifically night 2 of WrestleMania. And this is the danger of having now a 2-night affair, because the end of Saturday night's main event between the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk match, I mean, that was awesome. You had Paul Heyman turning on his best friend in CM Punk, and then his tribal chief in Roman Reigns aligns himself with Seth Rollins, which Mackey, by the way, called off Mike. You should have put that and write that down potentially.
I thought I did, maybe. I called a couple things here. Old Macadax definitely sees the wrestling horizon throughout his life. Yeah.
And then yesterday, it's the marquee matchup. You're going to get Cody versus Cena. Is Cena going to get his 17th title and pass Ric Flair? Is Cody going to continue to be champion for a year plus? And the match just felt rushed. Travis Scott comes out. I want to repeat this. John Cena won his 17th title with the help of Travis Scott on night 2 of WrestleMania. That actually happened. And as a wrestling fan, I think what really irks me here is John Cena has been involved in some just brutal WrestleMania main event pushes in his career. It's kind of a stain on him that he has never really risen up to the Rock and Stone Cold in terms of the main event legitimate attraction, even though he was shoved down the throats and was their guy for 10 to 12 years. Like, that's no fault of his own, but he's been involved in some dud WrestleMania main event matches. And I felt yesterday, even if it's not the fault of Cena, really just didn't help that narrative and that legacy for him. So, cool, he gets his 17th title. I felt the match, though, was rushed and just didn't really live up to the marquee event of WrestleMania.
Judd, how would you rate night 2 of WrestleMania on a 1 to 10 scale?
I got a question for you guys. Why are we dusting off Cena? Like, he's back now.
Every great wrestler deserves his last trip around the sun.
He's doing his retirement tour. So he's announced, I'm done. This was my last WrestleMania. This 2025 calendar year, I am done. I'm not coming back in the ring.
I feel like we need to be developing.
No, we
characters.
are. No, and you use the old codgers to develop the new guys, and that's kind of
all right.
That's kind of how they do it.
I'm not a big fan of this. Like, you're too old. It's like, you know what
he does look really old.
It's Peyton Manning. At the end, the ball is wobbling through the air. I don't care if you won a Super Bowl. The ball was wobbling. It's pathetic. It's sad. Go do your Omaha production thing. Cena, go do your movies or something, which aren't.
He's been trying, which aren't good. Part of the reason I think his Honda,
you know what?
His Honda voiceover work, I think, is his number one out of the ring.
Here's my message to John. You ain't The Rock. The Rock.
Well, no, he isn't, because he actually shows up to WrestleMania. That's why you credit Cena.
No, but The Rock, a great talent.
People are very mad, by the way, Judd, that The Rock, because The Rock is like part of the board, like the actual board of directors for TKO, which owns WWE.
He didn't show?
And he'll just kind of pop in, because he's everyone's actual boss. He'll just kind of pop in and do something, set up a story, but then he'll disappear because his schedule gets too. So people were mad that Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like legitimately mad that he kind of set up a storyline a couple months ago, but then like, oh, my schedule got kind of crazy, so you guys will have to figure out. You have to kind of figure out how to land this plane yourselves. Nowhere to be found.
I mean, Judd, do you believe in Joe Hendry though?
I saw your thing. I saw your tweet. So
Joe Hendry.
He was at like where? What high school?
Well, he was at Woodbury like 6 months ago.
And you didn't go, right?
At a house show. No, I didn't. I didn't know it was happening until the night of. I know.
You're no fan.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I just thought they kind of dropped the ball. I expect better from Paul Levesque era. I expect a little bit better.
Yes. Wrestling takes with Dex.
I still want to know, when's it coming here?
When is meaning WrestleMania?
Yes. When is WrestleMania coming?
At no point in the near future.
To US Bank Stadium.
It's not. It's not.
They hate us.
This was supposed to be the year, but then rightfully so, they chose Vegas. I mean, it's just a bigger spectacle. Tough to fault them. But SummerSlam will be here in a year and a half. And we can get Judd sitting courtside when they show all the celebrities on camera, ringside, all the celebrities on camera going down the line. Yeah. Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, I'm sure they can't wait for
Judd Zulgad.
The sports dad, Judd Zulgad, right there.
Who the hell is this? No. So for my statement, I'm going to stay in Vegas and go to Crosstown T-Mobile Arena where the Wild opened their series with a loss to the Golden Knights. But believe it or not, I'm going to focus on the positive and say this.
Wow.
That game last night, and I did a morning Judd on this as well, mocked off mic by Phil, but I did it. That performance by Matt Boldy last night, 2 goals, is why I am so hard on him when he doesn't play like that. He had 1 playoff goal in his career coming in, scored 2 goals, was absolutely great. Around the net, played a very hard game. I actually today, I do not hate this team. I like how they played. No, I don't hate this team. I'm not that critical. They really lost because it was an empty net goal to make it 4-2.
Yeah,
they really lost 3-2. But Matt Boldy, this is why he drives me crazy.
This is the most
because he played fantastic last night, and he can play like this. But let me tell you guys about this.
Did you get hired by FanDuel Sports here? This is amazing.
Coming up next.
This is exactly the type of analysis
Phil and Dex, when you have a star like Matthew Boldy.
Matt Boldy, when you got a star like that, like Matt. Let me now tell you, though, did you guys see the bad beat last night? That Wild game? The over-under was 5.5.
Oh.
And the empty net goal came with basically 0.1 second left.
Well, it was 5 goals. What do you mean? It was 4.5?
No.
Yeah.
It was 6 goals. 4-2.
Oh, 4-2. Yeah, because
4-2
and then the empty net.
It was 5.5.
And it came with like under a second left.
And it came with under a second left. It crossed the goal line as the clock hit zeros.
Dude.
And they counted it. That's a bad.
Because in hockey, it's not when in basketball, when it leaves your hand.
Has to cross the goal line fully.
Yeah.
So if the puck is not over the goal line, it's not football. It can't be like the nose of the puck.
It should be like basketball, where once the puck comes off your stick, but then if someone tips it, it doesn't count.
Well, that's the problem. But anyway, you talk about a bad beat. You're sitting there breathing a deep sigh of relief as time winds down. You've got it. You got the under, and they score that goal.
I'm just wondering where positive Judd emerged from here, because I feel like
I didn't mind last night's game at all.
Why not? I know that Boldy scored a couple goals, but they went in, they got beat. They're down 1-0. And I feel like you're kind of letting them off the hook here on this post-game show right now. Coming up next,
problem.
We'll tour Matthew Boldy's second home.
Here's the problem.
His childhood home.
I'm happy they showed up, because they've not shown up at times. And Vegas is the superior team. I don't understand, and I could be wrong about this. I don't understand, like, the Wolves and Lakers to me, right? Good series, but it's very competitive, and I'm not going to be surprised one bit if the Wolves win that one. If the Wild wins this series, I will be very surprised. So, like, to me, if I was to place a bet, it's not even close. Wolves
I feel like we are completely wasting the Kirill Kaprizov era here. And some of this was, the early part of his career, you were saddled with the Parisi Suter buyout penalties, and it kind of hindered what you could do with your cap. But it kind of it feels like we're wasting the greatest player in the history of the franchise here.
It does. Now, I will say, if he signs an extension, which he can sign an extension starting on July 1st, which is going to be incredibly expensive, you do have the resources now, though, to build up your team. You've got kids. I think the real pressure, and there are people that want Guerin on a very hot seat right now, which is not the case. He's not. But I think the real pressure starts next season. Because assuming Kaprizov's back, you've got some prospects now. You've got the ability to probably go out and spend on at least one other impact free agent, which you have not, been able to do for years now. So the reality of the situation is, if we go through the next couple of years status quo, then you've really, really screwed up.
Yeah, it's oh man, this dude is. It's hard to find guys who score. Oh that God, creatively.
But he also missed 40, I think, of the last 43 games or something like that too. Yeah. Like he was on. There was a time before he got hurt when he was the leading candidate for the Hart Trophy as MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he got hurt, surgery. So sucks, but it is what it is too.
Yep, that's life in the National Hockey League.
That's life.
A couple other people sent in legit pizza pictures this weekend. So if you're buying and cooking legit frozen pizzas, send them over at Phil Mackey on Twitter or X. Pep's Legit Pizza, that throwback style, those pizza parlor vibes, stone-baked, cracker-thin, crunchy crust. It really gives you that at-home pizza parlor experience. The sausage and mushroom is my personal favorite flavor. I think that one of the photos came in was a Supreme, which is great. You can also just get the cheese and put some like crushed red pepper on it.
Absolutely.
Throw a little hot sauce on there too. You can find legit pizzas at a store near you and have an authentic at-home pizza parlor experience. I think you guys both have Easter related. I'd love to kick it back to Dex here.
Sure. I have a question for you guys, and it's where does the Easter brunch spread rank in terms of our your national holiday food spread, right? So I'm thinking like Thanksgiving, you have your turkey and your stuffing and your pies, and I know there's probably a Venn diagram gray area between Christmas and Easter, maybe being in the same boat in terms of like the ham, right? There's always a Christmas ham,
a lot of au gratin potatoes.
Which, by the way, as someone who loves ham, I'm all for ham. I give me ham 7 days a week. Give me 8 days a week of ham. I love ham. And then 4th of July, you have your burgers and your dogs and all that fun stuff. But where does the Easter spread rank? Because here's my problem with Easter, and this is just a personal thing. I can't stand a quiche. I do not like quiches. I do not. I just.
I
it's
love
the texture.
quiches.
I do too.
This is a hot take. I'm well aware. Like I might be mostly on an island here.
I don't think so.
I do not mess with quiches, and I think it just puts this weird extra layer on Easter that I don't want. I don't need a quiche. I don't need a damn quiche around. I'm good with the ham, the cheesy potatoes, all that stuff. But I do not mess with the quiche. Can't stand.
Are they all on the table, or is the quiche taking the place of like, I don't know, the ham?
They're all.
If they're all there, don't complain.
Yeah. I went to the in-laws yesterday for Easter. I did not go to my own family's Easter. And there was ham and quiche and the cheesy potato. So like it was all encompassing, which I appreciated. I'm good with that. I'm just saying. But I don't think we need a quiche. That's all I'm saying.
I like quiche.
I definitely think that you're wrong about the quiche, and that's fine. I know that usually food is subjective. In this case, this is just an incorrect opinion, and that's fine. Like everyone is entitled.
Incorrect opinion.
I would say, one of my biggest pet peeves with Easter is sort of the vague nature of when you're supposed to eat. Is it brunch?
Ooh, good one.
Is it late
we went
morning?
To brunch yesterday.
Is it
11:30 reservation? Very nice.
I've had other family gatherings where it's more like a late lunch kind of a situation because it gives people room to go to church in the morning, and then it's like a 1 or a 2 o'clock. But then it's like, am I supposed to eat breakfast? I would just like a little more clarity on when you're supposed to eat on. Also, another question I have about Easter: where did the bunny originate from? Like, what does the bunny have anything to do with the core meaning of Easter?
I'm not sure. Well, and
why are there eggs being hidden?
And we used to hide eggs, and now I find it very weird. And I don't even like eggs now. Like my mom used to hide eggs like in the chandelier and stuff, and I always thought it was really cool. And now I'm like, why did I think that was cool?
Climb your ass up the ladder to
fall off fall off the table. I don't know.
I can tell you right now, because Easter, I'm fine with the Easter basket. My lovely wife gave myself and Vinny an Easter basket. I also contributed to my wife's Easter basket. Got her some things I knew she liked. But in terms of the Easter egg hunt, our family was not an Easter egg hunt family. And let me tell you, when you have to then go be a part of someone else's Easter egg hunt when you're not used to doing that, completely unnecessary, and it's not fun at all. I do not enjoy an Easter egg hunt, like in the backyard with the kids and like that stuff.
So you expect to partake in this?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Wait, like like as an adult, you are searching for eggs?
Yes.
This is ridiculous. Draw the line.
I drew a line very early, and I got a lot of flack for it. It was the first Easter I was together with Kelsey.
Yeah, you know what?
I booked a tea time.
I'll talk to him.
I booked a solo tea time. I've only golfed like once by myself, or like once or twice. That was one of the 2 times. Like, no, I'm not being.
I love this.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I did. By the way, I did find here. I don't know some AI summary on Google of the origins of the Easter Bunny. So German. The Easter Bunny, or the Easter Hare, Hare, was a prominent figure in German folklore, particularly among German Lutherans. The hare was believed to lay colorful eggs as gifts for children who were good children. German immigrants, particularly those settling in Pennsylvania, brought the Easter Bunny tradition to the United States, and then it gradually spread throughout the country. So that's
unnecessary.
Just feels like an arbitrary tie-in. You know, like, how can we spice up this? You know, Christmas and Thanksgiving have kind of jumped out to a big lead in the holiday rankings. How can we spice up this Easter situation?
It feels like
what about an egg hunt? I don't know.
It feels like they're trying to copy Santa Claus too. Like we need a mascot for our. I know you don't.
Totally.
No, you don't.
Easter needs a better marketing department, quite frankly. 2 things quickly.
So we went to brunch at a fine establishment yesterday, and it was $50 a piece, which is, a lot, but it's not outrageous by any means. May I suggest this as an aging guy at a brunch? Because when you're young, you just eat and eat and eat, right? You get your money's worth. But as an aging guy now, I didn't want to eat to the point of like I didn't feel good.
Yeah, you got a big wild game at.
I got a big exactly right.
9 o'clock.
Here's what I want: if I'm going to pay $50 or more at a brunch, I want a container.
Was it
to take home?
So this is buffet style.
Buffet style. Yes,
okay,
I'm sorry.
That was my question.
Buffet style. Buffet style. It was very good, but I want a container because I like right now. If I had a fridge with the stuff from the buffet yesterday, I'd be really happy.
Dude, $50 seems pretty steep for a buffet,
steep.
dude.
I thought it was going to be a course.
Is it like unlimited bottomless mimosas or something?
No. Those were extra because Dawn got those. Yeah. This was not, but the restaurant was very good. I'm not complaining about that. I just want a container. Like I would like to have in my fridge when we're done recording, I would like to walk to my fridge and have the contents of the buffet in my fridge.
What you didn't mention is it was actually a $26 buffet a couple weeks ago, but the price of eggs is outrageous now. So now they've had to.
They were good eggs too. A good scrambled egg is great. My last thing is this: Easter. I would like to see it, and I understand the calendar. I would like to see it contained to a certain Sunday.
I feel like we got in trouble with this.
So many we got it in late March.
You're going to get like 3 really angry emails.
We got it in late March. We got it in April. 13 years of Catholic school. Do not at me. But I would like it anchored in like the second Sunday of April. Yeah, I don't need it in March. I don't need it late.
I feel like there are some landmark days or even holidays where this is the Monday that we're gonna take off here, even though maybe the date is a you know what I'm saying? Like, but you're definitely gonna get angry emails for this. Declan and I have experienced this in the past. Totally with you from an organizational standpoint. Would be nice to map out the calendar uniformly throughout the years. But that's Jay Zolgad at scorenorth.com.
I don't think I'm saying something that's outlandish. I don't like it when it's really late and it's weird when it's in March. I'm just trying to help everybody.
Yeah. It is a wide range. It's a wide variance
I
of.
mean, we don't move Christmas like, hey, let's have it on January
Don't
20th.
suggest that.
But by the way,
I
I had to
don't
make
want
a grocery store trip yesterday, and it's hard because like a lot of things are closed on Easter, and I made like a mid to late morning grocery store trip. And holy cow, like everyone's out in their Sunday best. And by the way, I see all you frauds buying flowers at the last minute. Okay. If you know that someone bought flowers on the way to the gathering, does that cheapen it? Kind of
No.
cheapens it.
It depends on what it is. It depends on who it's
So
for.
you stopped 10 minutes ago and bought these flowers?
But if I've been invited to a house or like it's my mom, it's fine. If it's the wife, then you might have, it might be different. But if it's like oh, thank you so much for having me over in my Sunday best so I can't go home and get comfortable in my sweatpants. Here's some flowers. I don't mind that.
I mean, are you telling me you'd buy flowers like 2 days prior to the event, water them, keep them alive, and then give them to the person 2 days later?
No, I guess what I'm saying is giving flowers is an overrated practice, period.
I agree with that.
Interesting.
I do agree with that.
It's expensive and they die after a few days.
Yeah.
And the responsibility falls on the person who's acquiring the flowers to have a vase and water them. And, it's a whole thing for everybody involved.
Because then they die and they start to smell bad. And you're like, what smells so bad? And it's like, oh, it's the damn flowers.
Yeah. There's got to be better gifts than, buying flowers at the grocery store.
Fake flowers. Just buy me some fake ones, plastic ones. And I'll display
Those last
them.
Forever. That's right.
Exactly.
If you buy someone a fake tree, that's a better gift because now they have it for 15 years potentially.
All right.
Anyways, all right. Those are your weekend statements and questions here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. The deep questions.